Welcome everybody. Welcome to my page. So today we're going to be getting into a little bit of John 11. There are several verses that I have that the Lord has brought to my attention regarding this message. And the first is from the story of Lazarus. And the first one is John 11:9-10. Jesus answered, "Are there not 12 hours of daylight? Anyone who walks in the daytime will not stumble, for they see by this world's light. It is when a person walks at night that they stumble, for they have no light." So right here, the Lord is saying, so if you walk in truth, the day is the truth, in obedience. And the night is darkness, okay? To God. So if you walk in truth and obedience to God, you will not be led astray. But if you stray off and you do not keep the commandments of God, you're walking in darkness. So I'll say that once more. Are there not 12 hours of daylight? Anyone who walks in the daytime will not stumble, for they see by this world's light. This is really just speaking on being confused or just not knowing how much of this beauty, this greatness, this lightness that the Lord is trying to show us, this beauty and miracle that the Lord is trying to show us. Because some of us may not be walking in the light. We may only be seeing the dark side. We may only be seeing the negative, right? So it's really key to just stick closer to God and focus on God this week. And this may even be somewhat of a late message because some of this may already be playing out. But this is something that should always, especially in the next couple of days, come into play for you guys. Always know that you're walking with God when you are walking in the light. And you're walking... Yeah. Now, I've watched Prince of Egypt many times as a kid. I even viewed it with reverence to God, like had my little Bible study with it. I had a Bible study as a kid, teaching my little cousins, and we would watch the Prince of Egypt after. And I was loving the message of Moses' testimony. Like, I had no idea that God would use that as an example for idolatry so much into my adult life, at my big age, right? I had no idea that stuff from when I was a kid would be playing so many keys right now for me. But finally, I passed this test of idolatry that I had no idea I was taking. You see, God gives lessons in His Word. One message contains several utterances of the Word, holding knowledge of liberation, salvation, belief in God, and standing up for what's right. That's what all of the, when I think about the story of Moses, I'm sure there's many that I haven't even mentioned, but those are just some that come to light for me. Taking your place in God's kingdom and just how God intended for you to do those things. Yes, you will have a few hiccups, but God will get you to the pulpit of His own design. He will get you to that place He's designed you to be in. And that's just one of the messages. Now, if we go down to John 11, and we're still in John 11 here. If we go down to John 11, this is more in the story of Lazarus. Starting at 22 and going down to 26. Lord, Martha said to Jesus, "If you had been there, my brother would not have died. But I know that even now, God will give you whatever you ask." Jesus said to her, "Your brother will rise again." Now, Martha believed in Jesus, and she was content with waiting for God to use her. This same Martha was a follower of Jesus, and her patience was fireproof. The worst thing that could happen did happen, and her faith for God went nowhere. It stood firm. And we're going to move down a little bit more. Martha answered, I know he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day. So she's talking about the last days. She has no idea what Jesus is about to do. Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live, even though they die. And whoever lives by believing in me will never die. Do you believe this? The Lord said so much with those. With 25 and 26. When I was reading this, y'all, I read it so many times and made sure I looked at it from all different points of views, because the word really will quicken you while you're reading it. My pastor over at Second Mount Zion Baptist Church, he's once said a quote that I'm familiar with. It says, the word reads, it's like the word reads the heart, and the heart is deceitful. I'm gonna pin up the verse and find it for you guys, but that's definitely what the word does to somebody. No matter how many times you read the Bible, there's a level of clearance and covering that's on your life, and which with each new level, the verses are going to hit different to you at the different stages of your journey. Now, she was melted by the words of God. Can you imagine her complete trust in Jesus? It touched my heart. For God to make this miracle viable, for God to come and make this thing true. What's interesting is we don't often think of what it takes for God to show us his proof of the love he has for us. We complain at the first sight of trouble. And we depend on circumstances sometimes to show us how good God is and God's love. Some of us are scared of a little suffering, forgetting 2 Corinthians 4:17 and 2 Timothy 3:12. A lot of us misunderstand God's love language. We want him to come when we say and how we like, not acknowledging that God's timing and judgment is perfect. And we should count it all joy in suffering, because something good is coming. I'm here to witness the goodness of God, not drive myself silly, waiting on a kingdom marriage to manifest. I'm still waiting on that car you promised me, Lord. I'm still waiting on those things you said you were giving to me, Lord. But no, we don't want to speak like that. God will blow you away with his timing and his tact. You see, God has he's mastered, like he has literally invented the very things that will change our life, that we may or may not have access to already. He can change our situation in a heartbeat. A lot of us could not keep the very things that we take for granted daily without the sense that God so graciously gives us. And to undermine God while he is working, I just couldn't do it. I want to be like this sister here. I want to be like Martha. Praise the Lord, God says in Isaiah 43:2. So when we are being knocked back by mild annoyances, it's really reading as we don't trust God to do as he said he would do. But once God ordains certain things, we have to just go with that. When the record shows that Jesus being in your situation, why do we still doubt or even grumble? Like the people here in Numbers 14:2. All the Israelites grumbled against Moses and Aaron, the whole community, saying to them, if only we had died in the land of Egypt, if only we would die here in the wilderness. And the enemy likes to sow seeds of anger in us. That anger likes to stir up right to the point of disrespect, to destroy all your progress. And we got to take that positive approach. So our sense of direction, our heart posture is towards God, not these things that we've asked for. By showing hands, how many of us go cry and tarry and complain about not being closer to God? Lord, I fasted, I prayed. I should be closer to you by now. I should hear your voice, God. Is that what we say to him? No. We ask for the things that we want. We always come in and complain about how terrible things are, but we don't include him in our lives enough. We long for these things, but we do not long for God, and that is the problem. We don't ask for him to be closer and give us wisdom to handle this problem. We ask for the problem to just go away. And maybe that's where our issues lie, in our faulty reasoning. Faith was never meant to be unchanging. He said to me, I never meant for you to just believe what I read, what is written. I meant for you to find proof in your experience. Every day you find more reasons to believe in me. Find the truth and live by it.